What's up? What's up? What is your name and what kind of coaching do you do?
Hi, my name's Clayton. Moves on Instagram, and I started doing mobility coaching, so FRC, can stretch mobility stuff. And then I slowly moved into like the kind of like helping online business and helping people grow their online business. And then through working with you, like helped me really stand in the title and the name of owning like marketing and sales and getting more specific on what I actually help people do. So yeah, like currently marketing and sales coach, helping health and fitness experts get more online clients from Instagram.
Cool. I love it. I love it. All right, before we play the rest of this video, if you want help with this stuff, right? Like growing your business, scaling your business, it might be leads, it might be, closing more sales, maybe it's hiring a team, whatever it is. If you want help with this, click the link below this video, book in a time to chat with me and let me see if I can help you grow. All right, let's get back to the video. Where was your business before we started working together?
Yeah, so before we started working together, and this was like the biggest piece of humble pie that you helped me eat on our discovery call, sales call. And it was, like, hey, like, where are you at? And I was like, oh, I think I have this many clients, or I think I have this. But he was like, just like, no, like, what's it actually look like? And so I actually had to take an honest look. And once we totaled it up, we were clearing like $800 a month, for like that month and the previous month. And so that's where I was started when I hired you in January of 2023. And yeah, and looking back, the past 4 years, my business was at 25K a year, and like I have like another job. I work part-time as well. So like that was like I have other pieces of income coming in, but for my sole business, which I was looking to grow, like I was just stuck at 25K a year for the last 4 years.
Okay, cool. So you were making 25K a year and then like if we were to look at the month before we started working together, you were bringing in about 800 bucks a month. But you
Yep.
were kind of
Yep.
like stuck at 25K a year for 4
Yep.
years, like you said. Like that's
Yes.
what you were bringing in total in your business.
Yep. I couldn't get past 25K essentially.
Okay, cool, cool, cool. Where are you at now?
Yeah, this is nuts. All right. So, and like I say this shit and I look at the numbers and I look at my bank account, I'm like, it's still hard for me to kind of grasp it. But right now, for the year to date sales, and it's August when we're recording this, and I hired you January, which is really convenient because I can very easily track, progress. But since working with you, I've made $120,000 in sales, and currently have for the last, I think, like 3-ish months, like 20K recurring revenue, like in my bank account, like cash. So that's not like 20K in sales. It's just like that's what's going to my bank account for the last 3 months, which is bananas.
That's crazy. So just to recap that, you were stuck at 25 grand a year for 4 years.
Mhm. Yeah,
And we're already at 120 grand in sales this year, and we're not even 8 months in.
I know. It's really exciting.
Oh, that's crazy. I just want to do the math on this, but what's 20 grand divided by 800?
Oh, mathing is
Oh,
not my
yeah.
strong suit.
25 times 25x your income in like 7.5 months. So that's pretty insane.
Yeah, it's bananas. Yeah, it's nuts.
Cool, cool. What do you think, like top three main things that you did to make that shift happen?
Yeah, so when I came to you, like I was still clinging to like, wanting to do mobility training because like it had given me so much. Like it helped me like improve like my back, my hips, like just helping feel better in my body. And it gave me so much that I felt compelled to still teach that and stuff. So like when I looked at like my Instagram bio, I was doing two things. I was like, I help people with mobility training, move better, feel better, do what they love with less pain. And then it's like I help health and fitness experts with their online business, which online business I thought was like specific, but it was just vague. It wasn't, specific at all. So I resisted, like you're like, what do you want to do more of? Like, what do you feel, what fills up your cup and what brings you in more cash flow, right? And so just exploring that, I was like, well, the online business coaching brings more cash. And I also really enjoy that because it gives me the warm and fuzzies knowing that I can help more people learn how to market better and help more people. And like all the coaches I worked with and all the health and fitness experts I work with are super passionate and super care about like the other human being on the other end of the coaching experience. So like I felt really good about those being my clients. So like I was like, yep, more money and more fulfillment. So you're like, okay, so why are you still holding on to that? I was like, I don't know. I just felt like, that's like a part and I just want people to still know me for that. So I was really clinging to that. But then I said, well, how about this, Morgan? Can I post like 50% of the content like about mobility stuff and then another 50% about like the business coaching? And you're like, could we do 75 25? And I was like, okay, okay, yeah, that makes more sense. So I was like, all right, we'll do 75% of the grid posts, on online business coaching, and then 25% of the mobility. And I just started going, and then I just kept going, and it was like 2 weeks in, I was just posting nothing about like this, and then like adopted the title like marketing and sales, like just leaning into that, owning that, because I resisted that for so long, right? Because I didn't want to be like one of those guys like just talking about money all the time. Like that's not me. I'm not like, I don't like to talk about money all the time, but just like in exploring that with myself, I realized like, well, if I'm, that's literally the outcome I'm looking to get people. It's not like helping them online business. Like no one wants like help with their online business. They want like more money and more
Totally.
clients. And so I was just like, okay. So like I resisted it for a while. Like once I made that shift, like people were messaging me more. Like people were like, wow, your page is like really people who haven't seen my content 6 months ago and now they're seeing my stuff now. Like it was just like everything was congruent. My bio, the content I was doing, it was all circling back to like that common mission. And so like it really made my page quite sticky. So that was like change number one, is like doing one thing instead of doing all these other things and doing them kind of like good, maybe great, but nothing excellent. So now just like fully committing to one thing really helped me stand out in my own mind and then like outwardly as well. The second thing that you really helped me do was like raise my prices. So I was like, all right, we're doing this. And you're like, okay, let's double that. And I was like, okay, I doubled that. And you're like, no, 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 scratch that. Like, let's double it again. And I was like, hold on, Morgan, like it's just like, let me get some confidence at like charging this rate, and then like proof of concept, and like, just owning that. And then those clients that like I raised my prices were getting even better results than like the clients before. And I was like, oh, okay. And then a lot of results, and then more testimonials and more social proof. And I was like, wow, this is working. I started to believe more in it, and my abilities, right? Because I knew I if you ask any of my clients, like I care so hard about like every single person I work with. It's like my wife, my dog, my kid, my family, and then my clients are like right there. So and it's so like they know, they feel that, but I wasn't like focused on like specific tangible outcomes. You know what I mean? Like I wasn't saying like, okay, here's your baseline, and then here's where you want to go, and measuring that. I wasn't able to tell a story with my clients, which was a big thing. So then when I was like, okay, I raised my prices, doubled it, like double it again, I was like, okay, fine, doubled again. Super nervous, right? Like I think the first call, and I was like, yep, it's this price. And I just was like, and then they went through it and they're like, yeah, I think I'm in, let's do this. And like once that first person paid me that amount, like definitely something clicked and opened my brain. I was like, holy shit, like this is possible. And then I had like 5 clients paying me at that like even higher price. And then those clients were even more dedicated, more committed. And then because they're more committed, got better results. And I was like I'm doing a disservice to like charging people this small amount versus charging this. Like when they pay that, like they're gonna do the work, or else they're like, why the heck am I paying this, right? And so that was a big thing, that just can like increase your business off the hop, right? And then the third thing that I can think of is like talking about my offer, daily. And again, like I think people like get confused in talking about your offer daily. But like for me, it's just like using the call to action. Like mine's like make moves coaching. So I'm like DM me, make moves, to have a chat, DM me, make moves to learn more, DM me, like, so I can be like as indirect, like, and laid back, or like hey, there's 4 spots open, like DM me if you want one of these spots. Like that's a little bit more direct. But like just talking about my offer every day, leveraging social proof every day, telling more stories every day, like that has been huge. And I had this epiphany where in the previous years I would just like market when I needed clients, and then I would go through those clients, and then this is also like, so like step 4 that you've helped me with is like exploring more longer like term value of a client, right? So I would just like, if someone worked with me for 3 months or 6 months, I'd be like, okay, that's cool. And then like, okay, great working with you, bye. But like I would never even explore, right? Like my brain was like, well, they don't want to keep working together, but like, what if they do? And then like even ones that I'm like, okay, these people probably do, but like also ask these people, because like you might not know, like they still might want to continue. So in just doing that, like just like resold all these clients, and now I'm just like, holy shit, like there's all this money on the table that I had no idea. And like also continuing them on their journey, and helping them further, right? So that was a big thing. But yeah, just talking about my offer daily, because like when when I wasn't talking about my offer and I would just wait until I like needed clients and needed cash flow, then I'm like basically starting back over from zero. And then like it would take weeks or months until people would then consider wanting to work with me. But if I'm like always marketing, always talking about my offer, always leveraging social proof, like no matter how long it takes for someone to like have that decisional balance and that domino to fall, like that's not really in my control. But what I can control is showing up all the time and like just showing all the work and all the social proof that I've been amassing, over the last couple months. So that, yeah, huge, huge changes for me for sure.
Super, super cool. So it sounds like number one is like getting super clear on who you're helping and the outcome that you're giving them,
Hmm.
dialing that
Yeah.
in. Number two is raising prices. Number three is just talking about your offer more social proof, being able
Hmm.
to be direct or indirect, but like always being like, hey, I can help you.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the fourth thing is like, not only signing more clients, like re-signing more clients, which helps you, but also helps your clients get better results.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, like I just realized I may have been leaving like some clients hanging where it's just like, yeah, they made progress, but like they still like have uncertainties or still like, what's the next steps? Or like, hey, like how do I go from here? And case in point is like I had a guy who went through my group coaching program, loved it, crushed it, and then just like wanted to continue work with me. And then he was like, hey, should I consider launching a group program? I'm thinking of doing X, Y, and Z, X, Y, and Z. And I was like, that sounds amazing. He was like, I'm nervous, but I'm feeling called to it. And I was like, let's go. And I even so with the group coaching, I was like, hey, it's at this rate. My one-on-one rate is this. Like, I'm happy to like roll you into like this. And he's like, dude, whatever's gonna make you more money, like I want to pay you that. And I was like, are you sure? I was like, and he's like, yes. And so like, so then we bumped the price up and then went into that. So like it just had me thinking completely different about like myself, my business, my service, how I'm here to serve others. Like so many things just changed in that. But yeah, it's just been just extremely grateful for like you and like you putting out your work, you showing up and just like all the things I learned. And like I think what you said when we started working together too, you're like, Clayton, you're like 90% there. Like you're doing a lot of stuff right and your content's like pretty good. It's just like we need to just like pull this lever more and we need to do this more and you got to get clear on this. And like I think it was just like putting those things together and like realizing I had those blind spots and just making a couple small tweaks like led to like 120K in sales. Like the thing that, and again, this was like something I realized is that the freedom this gave me is, we've been working on a home renovation for 3 years now, which is like, you look at this home renovation shows and like, hey, let's open up this wall. And they're like, oh, we did this demo. And like, no, the demo takes like a year and a half. Like it's like it's a lot of work. But we had been doing all the work ourselves and then like had a couple people like, doing some help here and there. So we were saving money but we were spending time. And so I had this epiphany. I was like, we were doing that because like I couldn't afford to like pay a plumber to like do 10 grand of work or like pay an electrician to do 10 grand of work or like pay a contractor to, install a flooring or something like that. So now like I have this money and like I'm still like setting aside the money for taxes, setting aside money for investing, doing all that stuff. And I'm just like, I can pay a plumber, I can pay an electrician. And like so I'm buying back our time and our families now that much closer to being able to move into the house that we've been working on for so long. So that right there is just like incredible. The fact that I don't have to like hesitate to do that. Like I never had that kind of money. Like I have to like I screenshot my bank account sometimes when it hits like a new number because I'm like, I've never seen that number in my business checking account ever. Like ever. You know what I mean? And so like that's just is completely life changing.
Dude, you'll make me cry. Like I almost was gonna cry when you were saying that.
I'm almost going to cry. Like I thought I fucking cry all the time. Like it's absolutely incredible. Yeah.
So cool. So cool. I love it. Um, Sweet. I think my last question for you, or last couple questions would be like, did you have any hesitations to getting into the full-time fast track? Like, did anything that almost prevented you from signing up?
Yeah, so I think I saw one of your posts come up like on the explore page or like just in my like I don't know how I found you. And like if I wanted to, I could probably Sherlock Holmes and go back to like maybe the first like post that I bookmarked of yours where it's like, oh, this was helpful, right? Like I could probably dig back and find that, but I honestly don't think it was. I think it was about like 2 weeks before like I signed up in January, and I think I was just like watching it, and you could just kept showing up, and I kept like bookmarking. I'm like, well, this is helpful. This is, and just like you would even share like a carousel, and I would like find myself taking screenshots. I'm like, that's a great idea. It's super helpful. That makes a ton of sense, and it was just so easy and so actionable, and it just like kept making sense and kept clicking. And I just found myself thinking, like, am I gonna like hop on a call with this girl and like maybe sign up for a program and like maybe I don't know how much it's gonna cost, but like am I gonna do this? And I remember talking to my wife where it's like there's this program, like it's probably like it might cost about this much. I'm gonna talk to her on the call. And then after I talk to her, I'm like, okay, it costs this. Like, should I do it? And she's like, well, do you feel good about it? And I was like, yeah, I just like I don't know, like because she just I stumbled upon her. She came into my world so quickly that I was just like, I don't know. I just had this doubt. And I also had this hesitation of just like, I've never hired a coach before, in this capacity. And so I would always consume all the podcasts. I've like, got stacks and stacks of books everywhere. I read all the things. I learn all the things. I would buy like a $300 course here or there and go through the material, but like never really made that commitment to like work with the coach. And so yeah, that was kind of the leap. But at the end of the day, what kind of made me just kind of tip over is just everything you were saying was just making sense to me. And like I resonated with you on like, how you talk about things. And um yeah, and I just kind of said like, well, worst case scenario, this doesn't work. And then I'm just out that money and like, oh wow, like I'll pay it off in like, 2 months and get it off the credit card. You know what I mean? Like it's just like, okay, what do I have to lose? And then, like best case scenario, and I saw like you sharing so much social proof of just like other people getting results. And I was like, okay, so worst case scenario, it doesn't work and I just pay it off on my credit card in a couple months. Or best case scenario, it really works and I learn a lot and then I change things. And I didn't know like how much, like when you're just like, oh, do you want to make like just hearing 10K months? I was just like, yeah, like okay, like that's nice. You know what I mean? It's like it's just crazy to like imagine something like that, and that was just like so far off from like my belief and my ability to do that. I was just like, yeah, like maybe some people, but not me. But then once we got into it, and then we set up all the infrastructure, like those four things that you said you helped me do, and like we did together and stuff, and it was just like and then when I raised my prices and then started seeing like the more cash flow come in, and then I started doing the math and I was like, well, shit, like if I get like just 10 of these clients at this price point, that it started to become more tangible. And I started to like almost not almost like gamify it, but like have fun with it. I'm like, oh, cool. Like this, and if I get this, and then I'm like tracking, like, whoa, I'm at a 5K month. I'm at here, I'm at this. And it just started to like make it fun and exciting and working towards something that was like much more real, at some point, even though at some points this doesn't feel real, but it is.
Yeah.
So, but yeah. So I don't know. Did that answer your question? I think I did.
I think so,
Yeah.
yeah. I think is like, did you have any hesitations? And it sounds like the biggest hesitation was I'd never hired a coach. And then it was like,
Hmm.
well, let me play this out. What's the worst case?
Yeah.
What's the best case? The worst case is not that bad. I'm not gonna die.
Mm.
Best case could be incredible. Cool,
Yeah.
let's like
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. And I think like the main hesitation was like because you just like I just found you like 2, 3 weeks before I decided to like hop on a call and before I decided. And I even remember too, like on the call, because I was just like, part of my curiosity was like, oh, let me just see how this call goes. Like, and if anything, if I don't sign up, I can just see how she does a call like this, right? And I remember just being like, because like you know me, we've been working together for months and months and months, but like I'm like super laid back and like happy and laughing all the time and stuff like that. But I remember being on the call, just like being kind of like guarded, being like, yeah, well, maybe, and I was just like, and maybe it didn't come out that way, but like I was like really kind of guarding myself and protecting myself, being like, oh, I'm not gonna like get sold on this. But then, once I kept going through the call, I'm just like, yeah, like this is what I want. Like, yeah, this is like I do need help because like I've been stuck here for a year. And like I think like the clarity you gave me on that call, like I said, like eating the biggest piece of humble pie, like I had to take an honest look at like where I was and an honest look of like where I wanted to go. And I think like that was like the biggest thing for me, the biggest like thing I was so thankful at because like I think for so long I was playing business, but I wasn't really running a business, and so yeah, but then like once I kind of let my guard down, like made, made that purchase, like I had more skin in the game than I ever had before, and I just like did the work, and I just like, and I think there were a couple people in the group that were like really pushing hard and doing things, and like I'm like I wouldn't say like I'm a competitive person, but like I do enjoy play and like competition and things like that. So like I was inspired by like people like doing big things in the group. And so I think that really pushed me. And I think just tracking my own metrics was also really helpful too, being like, okay, wow, like this many discovery calls and stuff like that. And like in this past group coaching launch, I think I was on like 15 sales calls in like 2 months or something like that. Like I'd have to like double check it, but like a lot of calls. And I think like my overall close rate's like around like 75% or something like that. Like it's like, you know what I mean? And so I'm just like, holy shit, like that's crazy. And I even like had someone sign up, like it was like a referral and from someone who went through the program, they signed up. And so like I actually just sold through the DM. Like we didn't even hop on it because
Yeah.
like in the interactions, there was just so much like just mutual trust and he was so clear on what he wanted and like there was no and I was just like, well, the program costs this, like do you want in? He's like, yeah. And I'm like, do you want the link? He's like, yeah, send the link. And just that's how it went through. And I was just like, wow, that was another like moment, right, where
Aha.
that can happen. Yeah. So
Totally.
yeah.
Cool. Cool. I love it. Um, what would you tell that person who is maybe lurking around, maybe thinking about signing up for the fast track?
Fucking do it. Seriously, like worst case scenario, you don't do any of the work and you get zero results. You know what I mean? But like that's on you. But like if you're ready to do the work, if you're ready to be unstuck, if you're ready to like really dial in the things that actually matter and actually work, just pull the trigger. Like seriously. Like I mean, you heard from like what if you've listened to this whole call here, like like my life has changed. And it's and there's countless other examples. Like I know like multiple people from the cohort I was in that had like great outcomes, and just seeing the work that you share, like it's just the shit works. So like please just like if you've been thinking about it, like if you haven't been thinking about it, just keep watching Morgan's content, and just like let it sink in. But if you have been already consuming a lot of her content and you've been like getting value from it, it's akin to like the I made a post the other day where it's like you learn marketing by making 100 posts, not by reading 100 books. And it like that's it, right? Like if you're just like bookmarking all of Morgan's posts and you're like, yeah, this is great, yeah, this is great, it's just like I call it like mental masturbation. Like you think you're doing the work but you're not, you know what I mean? So like pay Morgan, have some skin in the game, get access to her amazing program. Coaching that you do is just like second to none. Like you just show up immensely for everyone if you have questions. And yeah, so just do it. Like if you've been thinking about it, just do it. The other thing too is like I was very grateful that I think I asked you like once the program was over, I was like, can I please keep working with you? Like, can I please like throw more money at you and just like work with you? And like we were able to make that happen. I know like you have like a cap on like if you're taking clients, if you can or not, because you're doing things, but I was really super grateful that we could continue to work together. And I had a number of moments where you're like messaging me on Voxer and you're like, hey, like, you okay? Are you there? And I was like, yeah, no, like I'm great. I'm just like doing the work. And like if I had a question, I would ping you. But like with working with the continuing to work with you one on one, like I still have the same program, same access to everything. And like, we would have our one on ones, but like just knowing that you were there for me and just knowing that like I was vested and I was paying you money. Like every time I saw one of the payments go out to you, I was just like, hell yeah, like awesome. Like I'm so glad I made this decision. I know it's crazy because it's like more money than I ever paid anyone per month. And I was just like, yeah, like I'm really happy about this. And I already talked to you too about like the potential like working together, like, after we move into the house and like after I have less moving parts. But like, yeah, I'm just so happy that I decided to work with you and continue to work with you because it's been awesome.
Cool. I'm also like, as you know, like super grateful that we got to jam and like to see you go from, wherever like less than $1,000 a month to 20K cash recurring is crazy. But like to see the
Hmm.
ripple effect in your life where like you can do the stuff with the house. And I know that you've been like doing a couple more trips and stuff. Like
Hmm.
it's crazy to watch. So
Yeah, it's the freedom of it. You know what I mean? Like I don't live an extravagant life, but like that there are a couple key things that I really do want. And like some of them is just like to not hesitate to travel, like to go to a national park or to see some really cool things, to not have to hesitate to like buy the type of healthy food that I want to buy. Like it's like I drive like a 2012 Subaru. Like it's just like, it's nothing extravagant. And like the house that we bought, like we got it at a really good price and we've been, like I said, just renovating it ourselves for the most part. And it's just like just simple things, and just having a kiddo and raising him, like just being able to have enough cash where like I don't have to stress over things. And like I've never had like this amount of savings set aside to like, like for like my other job, like I would do my investing and stuff like that, but I never had like, hey, here's a chunk of cash here. You know what I mean? That is just like there, and so yeah, it's just so many things have just changed. Just my ease and like knowing like, okay, here's where my business is, and just like the fun of like knowing like where it can go to. Like that's pretty exciting, and just playing with those numbers and crunching those numbers and just knowing that I have a path forward is like really cool. And it's just it feels very grounding. Like I feel very just like content, but still looking forward. You know what I mean? Like and that's a really cool feeling, because before I was just like, oh, I have to move forward, but like I don't know how, and I even doubted if I could. You know what I mean? So, but now just having like a clear path forward is like such a great feeling.
Cool. Cool. I love it. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to share.
Absolutely, of course, Morgan. Thank you. Appreciate
Cool. Wrapped. Wrapped.
it.
All right, once again, I hope that you thought this was helpful. I hope this was valuable for you. If you want the absolute most value that I can provide to you, I promise you it's not going to be in a video. It's going to be by freaking working together and letting us help you execute this stuff. So, if you want help executing this so that you can grow your business, scale your business, click the link below and find a time to book in a chat with me. I'll see you there.